Welcome back to the Yogiful Calming Corner. Today, we're going to be talking about sunflowers. These are my favorite flowers, and they're in season right now. Do you have any sunflowers near you? I just got back from a sunflower field. It was so beautiful. Let's get started with our sunflower breathing. It's time for sunflower breathing. So I have a sunflower. If you have a sunflower, great. If you don't, you can use any flower that you can find, or you can use your hands and have an imaginary sunflower. You can do this by connecting your palms together, touching your pinky fingers, and touching your thumbs. And then we have an imaginary flower. But today, I'm using a real flower. So before we begin, let's take a minute to really inspect our flower. Look around. Notice the different colors. I noticed that my petals kind of have like a yellow and a little bit of an orangey color and a little bit of a brown to them. Wow, almost like an ombre. And I noticed that there's a lot of different petals. And there's lots of brown, and it gets to be a darker brown in the center. Oh, it feels very interesting too. Noticing the leaves and how they feel a little bit more rough. And the stems. And noticing the back of the flower too. Wow, so beautiful. Okay, let's do our breathing. So we're gonna inhale and take a big sniff of our flower, and exhaling through our mouth, we're gonna sigh, okay? We'll do this 3 times together. Let's begin. Inhale. Last one. Oh, I feel calmer already. If you're ever having a stressful moment or experiencing a lot of emotions, try this at home. You can use a flower, you can go outside and smell a flower without having to pick it, or you could use your hands for an imaginary flower. Thanks, flower. Let's move on to our sunflower yoga poses. Let's go on a sunflower yoga adventure. So once upon a time, there was a tiny little sunflower seed coming to sunflower pose, sitting on our knees, hands by our side, coming down into a little seed position. And this sunflower seed was looking for the perfect field of sunflowers to grow in. All of a sudden, there was a bunch of wind. So, rolling around like a seed in the wind, let's roll around the floor. Woo! Rolling, rolling, rolling. And then the sunflower came to a field of frogs. Let's go to frog pose. Coming onto our feet, bending our knees as low as we can, and we're gonna hop like a frog. Ready? Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Maybe a couple more. Ready? Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And the sunflower seed thought, well, I don't think this is the place for me because this is full of frogs. So the wind started to blow the seed again. So coming into a little ball, and let's roll around like a seed in the wind. Whoa, hold your hats if you have them. Wow, rolling around like a seed in the wind. And then the seed came to a field of snakes. Let's go to snake pose. Coming down onto our bellies, lifting ourselves up, and the little seed looked around at all the snakes and thought, I don't think this is the field for me either. I'm gonna keep going. And as the seed said that, the wind started to pick up again. So, coming back to seed pose, and let's fly around in the wind. Whoa! Whoa! Hold on to your hats! Whoa! And then grove of trees. Let's go to tree pose. Coming up to standing, shifting the weight to one leg, lifting up our other foot for tree pose. And on the grove of trees was a bunch, and I mean a lot, of woodpeckers. Let's go to woodpecker pose. Bring your hands to your side, feet are a little bit apart, and we're gonna peck like a woodpecker. You ready? Peck, 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 peck. Let's do that again. Ready? Peck, 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 peck. And the little seed, come back to seed pose, thought to themselves, you know what? This is a pretty noisy grove of trees. I think I'm gonna keep rolling. And all of a sudden, the wind started to blow, rolling around like a little seed in the wind. Whoa! Whoosh, whoosh. And then the wind stopped, coming up to standing. Bringing your hands up overhead. And it started to rain on the seed. Lots and lots of rain. And then there was lightning and thunder. Jump up and down and stomp your feet as loud as you can to make thunder. Ready? Boom, boom, boom. Let's do it 3 more times. Boom, boom, boom. The seed was a little scared, but not too long after, the sun came out, bringing your hands overhead to make a sunshine. And days kept going. Let's go back to seed pose. Days kept passing by and passing by and passing by. And then the seed started to sprout, coming up on our knees, bringing our hands to our side like a little tiny sprout. And then the sprout grew, bringing one foot in front and the other foot in front, bending our knees, and it grew and grew, starting to stand up, and it grew into a giant sunflower. So this is how sunflower pose looks. We bend and come back up. Bend and come back up. So keep doing this while I tell you the next part of the story. So the grown sunflower looked around and it noticed something. It noticed it wasn't in a field of sunflowers. It noticed that there was woodpeckers around. 2 more times. Okay, 3 more times as fast as you can. 1, 2, 3. And the sunflower looked around and they also saw lots of frogs. Come down to frog pose. Let's do this 3 times. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Was that 3? Ribbit. 1 more for good luck. And then the sunflower looked around again. And the sunflower noticed that there was quite a few different snakes around. Let's go back to snake pose. And there was a few snakes, not too many, but a few. And then, coming back to sunflower pose, the sunflower realized something. The sunflower realized that the sunflower didn't want to live in a field of sunflowers because that was boring. The sunflower wanted to live in a field with lots of other diverse creatures. And the sunflower realized that a diverse world is the only world that they wanted to live in. 1 more sunflower pose, down and up. I'm ready to relax. Yoga time is ending. Let's relax for a minute. You have 2 options for how you can relax. You can sit up like I am, cross-legged, with a mindful body, sitting up tall, or you can lay down flat, that's my favorite, and with your belly up and your eyes closed. Again, Eyes can be closed only if that feels really comfortable. If you don't want to close your eyes, just find a nice soft gaze and pick one spot to stare at. Now that we're in our comfortable spot, let's take 2 deep breaths together. In through our nose and out through our mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. Let's imagine that we're walking through a field of sunflowers. Everywhere that we're walking, we see hundreds and hundreds of sunflowers. All different shades of yellow and orange and green for the stem and brown. Our bare feet walking on the ground, squishing in the wet grass. We notice a couple bumblebees flying by, going and making their stops on the different sunflowers. Let's get up really close to one sunflower. So in the whole field of imaginary sunflowers, pick one out that looks the most beautiful to you. And now, let's walk towards it. Imagining our feet walking on the green grass to the sunflower. We get there, and now we're right up close to this beautiful, magnetic sunflower. Walk up a little closer. Let's take 2 big smells of this sunflower in through our nose and out through our nose. Ready? How does it smell? Does this smell remind you of anything? Now, let's imagine the tiniest details of this sunflower. What do the petals look like? How many petals are there? Are there seeds on the sunflower? Maybe a bumblebee? Maybe there's even little bits of pollen. Take a minute and look really closely at your sunflower. Now, let's say goodbye in our mind to that sunflower. Turning around, we're going to start walking yet again in the squishy, a little bit wet grass. As we walk, we can imagine that we're touching the different sunflowers as we walk through the fields, soaking in the sun, feeling a nice warm breeze on our skin, enjoying the last few seconds of our imaginary sunflower fields. And now we walk, and there's no more sunflowers around. And we walk all the way back to our home. We walk up the stairs, and we lay down in our bed, coming back to our body. Now, if you're laying down, let's roll over to one side and meet us in a comfortable seated position. Keeping our eyes closed if you feel comfortable. I'm going to hit the singing bowl. When you don't hear the sound of the singing bowl anymore, go ahead and raise your hand up high to the sky. And slowly fluttering your eyes open like butterfly wings. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, stay yogiful. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Bye-bye.
Hello kids, get your yoga on. Join with me, it'll be real fun.